Bonsoir tout le monde qui est branché sur Filemon Talk Show. Nous parlons c'est Darleine Guerrier,
Jodly, Delia,
Esther. Oh mesdames, bonsoir, bienvenue. Darleine, pas la dernière fois.
Est-ce que nous tenons ça?
Nous tenons ça, oui. Un petit peu.
On est calé tout de suite. Nous tenons fanatique tout dans tout le monde.
de crier.
Ou t'es crié comme ça ou bien?
Comme ça.
Ça va bien pour nous là, mesdames.
So I'm back for good.
Yes.
Okay. So something really important. De prendre des gens passent sur normal, quoi pas la tandis. Okay.
Yes.
Parce qu'un pile fois nous toujours à try to push harder. C'est ça que fait l'épisode ça jeudi. C'est une meilleure façon pour bien venir parce que chita. Bon, ramasser chita. Je ne vais pas parler sur santé, sur fitness, sur qui ça pour nous manger, qui pour nous gérer sexy nous. So, ou même qui t'a dans le même pot ensemble avec nous pour nous nager. Les amis, les familles ont dit, viens regarder Filemon Talk Show et ou même qui t'a suivre nous tout, c'est peser petit belle là. Et puis à chaque fois nous avons un épisode, on a une chance pour regarder ou regarder encore, ça sûr.
Et c'est toi, je veux dire.
Yes. Nous sur Instagram, nous sur Facebook, nous sur tout côté net.
Quand on vire.
Mesdames, émission ça même très excitée.
Non, nous carrons ça.
Parce que nous avons parlé d'un pile de bagages qui sont mangés. Parce que nous-mêmes en tant qu'haïtiens, nous aimons manger.
Et bouche là, goût.
Mais il faut nous connaître qui j'aime pour manger, qui j'aime pour nous prendre soin de tête, pour nous vivre longtemps, pour nous.
Ou pas un beau kit manger, mais de
parce qu'on peut manger. Non, mais en plus, on ne peut pas comprendre, on peut manger ou juste pas manger. On t'y manip du riz. Donc, on peut peut-être manger.
Et c'est de moi. Est-ce qu'on peut manger ça de moi? On ne peut pas manger en pire. Pensez-moi deux,
on parle
bonne fille, ok?
Non, on peut manger banane, ou juste pas manger, on parle banane. Pas oublier que l'émission ça, et surtout segment ça, est sponsorisé par A Heart on Demand, qui sont movies qui vont jouer bientôt. C'est en octobre, 30 théâtre et nous avons plus de monde, c'est une belle occasion pour habiller, les familles, les amis, pour regarder un bon movie que dans la communauté prend temps pour faire.
C'est pas un théâtre, non?
C'est un film.
So, nous pas information, sous pas information,
c'est pas nous.
C'est pas quoi.
Au lieu de proposer, nous allons regarder une musique vidéo qui va encourager nous pour nous regarder qualité belle movie ça qui c'est pas en théâtre. 2 octobre. Pas oublier, n'a pas tourné d'aller.
tant à peine. Il ne pense qu'à sa peau d'ébène. Ces journées longues et laborieuses, depuis cette maudite nuit affreuse, sont adonnés aux rêves perdus qui jamais ne reviendront plus. De sa rose fraîche et fulgurante ne reste plus que des épines. Si son sourire te paraît faux, ne lui dis rien, quoi que t'en penses. Son cœur est en convalescence. Il subit presque sans répit jusqu'à la tombée de la nuit. Une interminable galère. Il s'allonge, les yeux grands ouverts. Au crépuscule, il prend son bain. Ce petit café du matin. Il pense déjà à son sourire, malgré son cœur qui se déchire. De sa rose fraîche et fulgurante ne reste plus que des épines. Si son sourire te paraît faux, ne lui dis rien, quoi que t'en penses. Son cœur est en convalescence. Si son sourire te paraît faux, ne lui dis rien, quoi que t'en penses. Son cœur est en convalescence.
Pas oublier la suite Off Limit et Kounia nous va accueillir un invité, un guest. Nous c'est Johane Filemon et Johane c'est un dietitian à Atlanta, Georgia. Et Johane, bonjour. Hey everyone.
Bonjour, Johane.
Thank you for joining us and coming to educate our guests, our people, our community. Thank you for joining us. So, Johane, tell us who you are and how you started.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me here. I am indeed a registered dietitian nutritionist based out of Atlanta, Georgia, but I am virtual. So I see people across the country. So you don't have to be in Atlanta for me to work with you. Originally, I was on a route to be a doctor. Medicine was what my undergraduate degree was in, exercise science pre-med. And during my exercise science degree, they make you take nutrition courses because, of course, exercise and nutrition goes hand in hand. That makes sense, right? And so I was like, what is this? I've never heard of this degree before. I'm trying to be a doctor. You guys are presenting me with nutrition. And I've always been in love with food because I grew up in a household where both my parents were culinary trained. And so the love of food has always been there. And then there's the love of medicine. And then I found this career that merged the two, the love of food and the love of medicine and health together. And I was like, okay, I think I'm not going to med school, parents. And my parents, you know how Haitian parents are. They didn't like it too much when I told them that. But it all ended up being great because they love the path that I ended up in.
Okay, that's good, you see, parce que des fois, on a changé carrière, et assez souvent, parents ici, ça oublie, c'est lui-même. Vous devez retourner en docteur, ou pas faire ça, et pour venir tourner en nutritionniste, dietitian. Quelle différence qu'il y a entre les deux?
With a nutritionist, you can wake up one morning and you call yourself a nutritionist. You don't have to have a degree. It's not licensed necessarily. It's not registered anywhere. You see this often on social media where people are like, well, you know, I've lost 100 pounds, so now I can now teach you to lose 100 pounds. But they have no real understanding of what we call medical nutrition therapy. So being able to understand disease conditions and how food and nutrition affects it and how they can help their clients, they don't have that real understanding. So years ago, our governing board decided to add the nutritionist at the end of our name because people seem to think that we were not nutritionists because we were just called registered dietitians. So now we're called registered dietitian nutritionists. And if you are looking for someone who you want to for sure know that they have the degrees, they have the board certifications, they've sat for all these exams and they've gone through all these internships, you know, for sure a registered dietitian nutritionist is the person to go to. And this is not to say that all nutritionists are not educated, because when I went to grad school, my professor that was over me, he had a PhD in nutrition, but he was not a registered dietitian, but he has a PhD. I mean, so he is an expert in the field, but most of the times when you find people who are calling themselves nutritionists, they don't have any kind of background, any kind of schooling, and, you know, maybe like a month certification that they got on some website online.
Okay, that's good to know. Est-ce qu'on joue un pile challenge? Parce que même à parler plus créole, parce que je connais un pile monde qui a regardé l'émission, il y a plein de gens ça va dire, surtout monde qui est déjà piégé, parce que ils pas habitué avec ça. They're not used to it. So pour eux-mêmes, nutrition, c'est manger qui a bon goût, manger qui a un peu de sel, un peu d'huile. Pour eux-mêmes tout, pour en santé, c'est pour gros, vous comprenez? So qui soit qu'à dire au monde, pour qui raison pour le monde qui a pensé, ok, bon me contacter, le monde pour qui aider avec façon que manger pour faciliter, you know, my health.
OK, je vais essayer de répondre ça en créole. So, santé avec combien on pèse, et pas même bagaille lié. So, on moun ka pèse en pile, mais yo en bonne santé. Meaning that the scale doesn't really is not a deciding factor for health. Example of that is someone who's an athlete like LeBron James or The Rock, for instance. When we measure and calculate their weight and their height, they would be categorized as somebody who is obese. And we know The Rock and LeBron James are nowhere near that, right? So we don't necessarily want to look at people and say, okay, just because of the way you look, you are unhealthy, right? So I wanted to get that out of the way. In regards to why, pour que ça est important pour manger bien et pour faire exercice, c'est parce que your physiological body is happy when it is receiving lots of nutrients. It is getting physical exercise every day. It's getting sunlight every day. Your physiological body is happy when that happens. And it's being nourished when that happens. It's getting fed. And those nutrients that you're eating are helping the cells of your body and everything to function properly. So we don't want to ever become deficient, especially with darker skin, like on peuple noir que nous y est. We don't ever want to become deficient in any of the nutrients, which we often as a community tend to be, especially when it comes to things like vitamin D, for instance. We tend to be deficient in those things. And so eating healthy and moving as often as you can is very important for your overall lifestyle and living in general.
Agree.
Johane, my question is for people who has cholesterol. How they can eat?
Someone who has cholesterol? Okay, so, back in the day, we used to connect cholesterol with eggs, for instance, and meat. And in the last decade or so, studies have come out to tell us that cholesterol has to do with your intake of saturated fats. So if you are consuming a lot of saturated fats, you are at risk for having high cholesterol. And saturated fats, those are the fats that soumettez en l'huile ou bien en graisse, en beurre chita on your counter, la kitchenou. Sous sa qui vin duya, pati ki duya, that's the saturated fat. So beurre, leli chita on your counter, ou l'on compare ça avec, for instance, olive oil. Olive oil sont l'huile liée, and beurre du. So, beurre sont saturated fat liés. Là, moun ki eme cuit avec viande, ap fait légumes avec viande, the graisse ou kon wek chita sous tête liyan, that's saturated fat. So that's the fat that we want to decrease. We don't want to have a lot of that so that we're not increasing our cholesterol intake. So for people who have high cholesterol, the goal would be to eat more fibrous foods. Manger un pile manger qui gain fibre. Is that the word? I think that's the word. I may be wrong. But so how do you do that? The Jodly collé à point que nous aimons manger, it does have a lot of fiber in it. The pois has a lot of fiber in it. So that's all great for us to consume. The légumes, les nap mette légumes la plat nou, ou bien les nap cuit légumes en général, si nous pas ajouter viande là-dedans, that would be great because that would reduce our intake of the saturated fat, but we're also getting all of the fiber from the légumes. But les nap manger légumes là, nous voulons légumes là, c'est les mêmes qui majorité plat là, et pas du riz qui majorité plat là. Comme haïtien nous aime mettre du riz avec les pois majorité plat là, bah c'est légumes là qui doit majorité plat là, mais légumes là si nous t'a fait sans viande, il t'a plus bon pour nous.
Bon, ça veut pas ouais, Johane dit, il va dire nous pas manger, non? Il dit nous réduire la quantité que nous mangeons. Et c'est simplement ça. Ou qu'à manger, mais faut pas montagne du riz, ou montagne viande, ou qu'à manger du riz, mais faut mesurer.
Johane, est-ce que si on fait un cholestérol, est-ce que red meat it's okay for them to eat?
Sparingly, ou qu'à manger red meat every now and again, but I wouldn't eat it often because we're still looking at the saturated fats. So l'op assaisonner viande ou wap cuit viande nan, retirer tout, retirer poa en pile saturated fat la dani, retirer all the fatty parts que ouais avec Dieu, retirer les couper li, retirer la dani pour reduce the amount of saturated fats they're consuming. So it's not a matter of ou pas k'ap manger viande même, but li pa dwe the most of what you eat. And le nou an ap gade plat haïtien, and even here in the United States, you see that either it's the starchy part that's the most, or it's the viande that's the most.
What about high blood pressure, diabetes? They are the same in cholesterol too?
The high blood pressure? Mm-hmm. So high blood pressure has to do a lot with the amount of sodium, sel wap mette la manjo, and sel wap mette l'on fin faire manger, on moun capable ajouter sel sous manger, sous table là, on fin manger. So, nous pas voulons manger en pile sel, et nous voulons faire un pile exercice tout, nous voulons boire un pile de l'eau, là nous gain problem high blood pressure, or if you have family history of it, like, ou met pas diagnosis là now, but sous connaît maman, papa, ou ma tante, you know, you're at high risk si you gain. So you want to make sure you're doing the things that are going to reduce your risks of getting high blood pressure.
Parce que c'est nous qui dans gène, c'est plus facile pour prendre que un monde qui va gagner dans gène. Donc, on nous fait plus attention. Moi, je connais les familles, moi, nous, papa, maman, ils ont high blood pressure, high cholesterol, diabetes. Donc, moi, je fais plus attention que on l'autre monde qui parle ça dans la famille.
Oui, moi-même, je souffre avec ce bagage-là. So, donc, Johane, moi, je vais aller pour mon cantique âgé parce que, you know, I'm daddy's little girl. So, qui ça a dit, le dit dans pas manger du riz, trop du riz, pas manger trop de viande, pas manger trop de sel, trop d'huile, et puis, il ne pas manger un peu de banane, un peu de maïs, un peu de... Parce que le docteur dit pas comme ça, il dit, mais qui ça docteur veut manger? Il dit pas maintenant tête, ok, pas manger un pile ça, pas manger un pile ça, portion en forme du riz, balancer et tout, faut avoir plus de légumes, faut avoir ça, parce que chaque manger, il y a un groupe par que you la donne. So, est-ce qu'on a plus d'informations pour nous connaître, ok, vous pas manger ça, mais si manger un plat maïs, qui ça, ou déformé, si manger 3 bouts de banane, ça va le faire pour, et tout ça. Pas là avec le problème.
So, problème là, c'est que nous quitter ça, nous te qu'on manger longtemps. So, moi qui te qu'on en Haïti, you know, my grandmother, my husband's grandfather, who just passed this year at 101, these people, you manger, you know, from the earth. Tout ça, you tap manger, it was from the earth, and then you tap from pile marché, vous comprenez? You marché à tout côté, you leve grand matin à travail pour juste la nuit. So, moun sa yo, you know, gens yo te kon manger, hein, li pas affecté their health as much, parce que quand tu te yo manger, hein, because you marché from the beginning of the day to the end of the day, yo pas yon ken problème. And then en plus, manger was fresh and it was directly from the earth. And that was great. So, problème nou gen kounya, c'est que nous still gen mentalité longtemps, but nous pas agi, nous te kon agi longtemps. Parce que nous États-Unis, nous gen manger instant, nous gen Maggi, you know, gen moun ki pense Maggi is originally like, is how Haitians originally cook. Nous pas kon manger avec Maggi longtemps. Nous te kon manger, nous fait bon épice nous mette la donne, and that's how we flavored our foods. We weren't using the Maggi like that. And now we're so dependent on stuff like Maggi, which is not necessarily the best thing for us to consume. So when it comes to our Haitian food overall, m'pare me di moun pou yo stop manger haïtien, because it's part of us. Our food is our culture. It's who we are. And si nous disons moun pou stop manger, c'est comme si on dit stop being Haitian. You know, that makes no sense. So, ça nous vle pour nous faire, because nous pas vivre, même j'en ai qu'on vive longtemps, where we're burning all these calories because not marcher toute la journée, we need to reduce or réduire the amount of jus à pois et banane et malanga et yam n'a manger. Nous devons les n'a manger en plat nous, c'est plat la majorité plat nan doué légumes nan qui fait sans viande. On connaît gen moun qui dit oh m'pa on ki j'aime faire légumes nan goût sans viande. Practice. You can make it good. Add tons of épices. Like get your épices on point. Ajoute lan légumes nan and it will be the most delicious thing you've ever had. And l'autre mette lan plat lan, moitié plat lan doué légumes nan. And then un quart plat lan ou mette du riz à pois ou bien ou mette banane nan ou bien ou mette malanga ou bien whatever vive ou voulez mettre la dedans nan, and then l'autre quart plat là et l'on mette viande nan sous son monde qui mange viande. So, sous mette plat ou comme ça, l'autre manger, you would be considered as someone que majorité plat li is plant-based. Like you are a plant-based eater. If majorité plateau, si plateau semble comme ça, j'aime ça du la moitié légumes nan, un quart cap du riz à pois ou bien du riz avec sauce poire ou bien vive là, and then l'autre quart là, c'est lui-même et l'autre mettez viande nous.
Parce que plant-based, que tout le monde a parlé de lui, nous-mêmes ici, c'est comme ça que nous manger plant-based. Mais le fait que, j'en nous pas marcher encore, nous pas prendre plus de soleil, nous pas faire exercice, et puis nous chiter à manger un paquet manger, et nous penser là juste disparaître comme ça. Donc, un monde qui était en Haïti, qui était toujours pesé 120 livres, il vient ici, il pesait 280, 200. Et pour demander qui j'en fait arriver là. Maggie, John, il y a Maggie, il y a Maggie John, il y a John avec tout ça, c'est produits chimiques. Je ne sais pas quel produit chimique, mais c'est ça qui fait.
Quand on n'a pas de modèle pour pratiquer, Johane qui est des pile. Oui, moi, contrôle les portions, mais les manger puis moi, je pas fini manger. Je ne pas manger 20 des boutons, mais je manger portion petit, mais depuis que je réalise, oh, je ne pas bon encore, je ne pas obligé de finir plat là. OK? So, donc, si vous avez un plat vous manger, ou pas obligé de finir manger, ou qu'à mettre là et puis après 2 heures de temps, ça tout grand pour prendre. Le comme ça, quand il temps, il digérer manger, ça cap kembe, c'est pas bon, sortir dans le souhait ou bien le péché. So, donc, on va c'est vraiment important pour nous connaître. C'est pas un plat manger qui va faire en santé, c'est juste prendre précaution à mesure et soit manger tout ça.
Absolutely. And plusieurs, most of the times, not manger vite. Nous pas prendre temps le n'a manger. And go connexion from your brain to your stomach, right? L'autre manger. And il prend 20 minutes pour connexion, pour y parler, pour y dire que plein. So, sushi ta blam, ou manger en vite. Il pas bon temps. Il pas bon temps pour dire que plein.
You know why? Let me tell you why. Même les maladies, ou bien avec des amis, moi j'aime toujours apologize. And say, I'm sorry, manger là, please. Gain patience avec. Parce que si manger trop vite, je suis comme un qui est assez. Donc, je ne suis pas capable, ma bout, oh, je ne suis pas bon. Sauf que je prends pour manger, pour m'enjoy manger, c'est un coup, pour sortir de l'autre making.
Moi, j'ai besoin, comme si vous avez une idée. Parce que moi, je ne vais pas manger même avec tout le monde. Parce que si je me lève le matin, je bois café, seulement, pas besoin de pain, moi en forme jusqu'à 2-3 heures. Then, je capable de manger exactement, même si on a mangé un plat manger, n'importe 2-3 qui aiment pour mon forme. Je ne vais pas manger en pile, je ne vais pas vraiment manger en pile, j'aime qu'on a manger.
So that's not the best way to eat. Lever le matin, you're breaking your fast. It's in the word. You've been fasting all night long for 8 hours. Your body's dehydrated because of what manger during those time, the time that you're sleeping. And so lever le matin, you got to break your fast and re-nourish and provide nourishment to your body. So I always tell people to look at the way you eat in this manner, especially in the society that we live here in the United States, where the hustle and bustle or the mouvement en pile, c'est la commencement journée, pas vrai? So your breakfast and lunch should be your biggest meals. And then as you go throughout the day, your lightest meal is your dinner, because that's the meal after that. Most of the time we're sitting down, we're winding down the day and nous allons dormir. Et toujours dire ça comme haïtien, nous toujours nous manger system ça. We follow it because the lunch repas is always the one that's the biggest in our culture. And then, we eat a soupe in the evenings, right? And that's the way I believe we should eat as a society here, because you're moving more and you're doing more during the beginning of the day, and you've just woken up. So café a pas assez pour replenish and nourish your body, to tell your body it's time to wake up, and here's the food, and get those cells moving. The coffee is not enough.
And I'm glad you said that, because a lot of people think that not eating is good, but not eating, you could actually be destroying your body.
It's absolutely, because what happened in l'on manger, c'est que on dit que ou l'on désert, a desert.
We get it right.
You're in a desert is what you're telling your body, and nous pas manger. So, ce n'est pas ça nous manger, Kembeli. So this has decreased your metabolism, which means that Jean ko marcher pour boule, the energy that you're eating, li pa marcher même Jean, because it feels like we don't know when our next meal is coming.
Survival mode. That's what it is.
Yeah.
So super maintenir dedans pour pas parler pour lui burn it off, pour le cas prendre place pour prendre ça va pas.
Yes. It's all about burning. And they always talk about calories in, calories out. So for manger, pour qu'à bouler.
Yes.
Parce que si pas manger ou faire exercice, il pas beaucoup non plus. Donc faut gagner énergie pour qu'à faire exercice. When do you think is the best time for someone to reach out to a dietitian? Should you be referred by a doctor, or can somebody make their own decision, say, you know what, I'm not doing a good job, I need help, and just reach out to someone?
Absolutely. You can make your own decision and contacter un diététicien pour conto. Some of the time, some of us, we take insurance, and most of us don't, because assurance, if you believe it or not, do not always cover the services of a dietitian. So you may have to Google in your area, or find somebody who's virtual like myself, pour joindre un diéticien pour travailler avec ou pas besoin d'un docteur pour tout ça, sous senti que ou fait tout ça penser que ou doit faire et ou pas aucun changement, ou bien the numbers, whether it be cholesterol ou bien high blood pressure or diabetes, numéro ou vle descendre ou elle pas move et ou penser ou fait tout ça que ou cap fait, then it's time to see a dietitian. But it can also be time to see a dietitian if you are someone who just wants to go on a wellness journey or a diagnosis, but you want to go on a wellness journey and you want to do it the right way. You see a dietitian in that manner. I specialize in gut health. And so what I do is I test people to find out what their best foods are, because my therapies reduce and reverse inflammation. And so I do that by analyzing a whole bunch of labs and a whole bunch of blood tests that I do, and I make it person specific. So people who come to me, they don't always have a diagnosis. A lot of the time they do, but some people, they're athletes, for instance, who are trying to reduce inflammation because they're trying to improve their performance. They come see me. So you are your best deciding factor on whether you want to see a dietitian. You should see a dietitian or not. Sous ça tout que ou besoin un diéticien ou pas faire bail bien, allons un diéticien. Pas besoin d'un docteur pour dire ça. You don't always need a referral.
Nous comprenons, Johane, pour tout le monde qui a regardé Off Limits, qui remet toute information en bas, vous avez contacté, vous avez remis travailler ensemble avec vous. Qui j'ai eu qu'à joindre?
For the younger population, Instagram. Instagram is an easy place to find me. My handle on Instagram is Black Nutritionist Mama. So you can find me on Instagram and you can DM me that way. My website, it's going to bring you directly to my website, and you can find me that way. You can send me a message.
Ok, c'est pour l'autre population. Ok, l'autre façon, est-ce que vous avez téléphone ou bien?
So I do have telephone, but it's easier to get me on email, because unfortunately, because I'm a virtual practitioner, most of the stuff that I do, you have to have some kind of technological savviness. You got to be able to use email. You got to be able to use Zoom. You got to be able to use some sort of digital tool, because c'est comme ça moi fait my appointments.
Okay.
I like that.
Well, thank you so very much for coming and educate us and give us ideas on how to eat, how to take care of our body, and then how to keep moving.
Yes.
Because a lot of us really need it. I love to move. I love good food. But I also want to make sure that I'm healthy and I'm here for my daughter and live longer.
Because my grandma died. Wait, grandma mourir à 150.
Wow. Ok,
grandma c'était ouais pareil. Elle était habitée dans casse en dehors tout le monde. Ça Johane t'a dit manger naturel, la marcher, tout ça. Grandma mourir, pas la petite de kitchen. Parce que la famille et tout ça, la balai 150.
Wow.
Yes.
Well,
we can do it, ladies.
Yeah, we can. So thank you so much, Johane, and I wish you success, and I hope that our viewers will take advantage and reach out to you and take advice from you.
And we would love to have you again on the show.
Yes, Johane.
We would love that. This is part 1, you guys. Parce que nous avons parlé. This is part 1 with you, Johane. Thank you so much.
Merci, Johane. Merci beaucoup.
Yes, me. I'm always willing and able to help my people. So thank you for having me.
Restez branchés, nous allons prendre une pause, nous allons tourner tout à l'heure.
Ciné Lyon présente dimanche 2 octobre 2022 la grande première du film Un cœur en convalescence.
He had a girlfriend, Rose. They were going to get married, and she died in a freak accident the night before the wedding.
A Heart on Demand au Strand Théâtre à 543 Columbia Road, Dorchester. Un film réalisé par Karm-Syndia, scénario de Brini Olivier Shackleton, avec Nadège Telfort, Betty Bella Lemite et tant d'autres. Porte à ouvrir à partir de 4h de l'après-midi. A bien red carpet, ticket $50 seulement et VIP $150. Ou qu'à participer dans After Party dans Lombados. Information 617 308 80 48, 617 435 48 28. Ticket en vente dans Soleil le Vérindolphe, à Brockton ou à bien ticket dans Gino's Restaurant, La Baguette Bakery, Madapen, Kedou Boutique et La Baguette, Everett, Borders Café Créole, Hyde Park, Belltop Services et Complex Air Design, Dorchester Bon Appétit Restaurant et online ou aller dans eventbrite.com. A Heart on Demand.
You have no idea how happy I am. I'm so glad that you two already know each other.
Cet événement est patronné par Speed Funding, Jerusalem Discount Furniture, Soleil Levé, Radio Télé Planète Compa, New Bridges for Haitian Success, Cathy Jodly, Gilbert Albert Community Center, Espoir Demain, Edna Chéry Design, Danny Madrigal's Sunrun, Diamond, Event Planning and Catering, and Ronald René Vicente Realty.
Dimanche 2 octobre, Strand Théâtre. Un film à voir.
Welcome back, guys. Fabienne a suivi Off Limits Talk Show. Le maman, c'est Darleine Guerrier. Vous parlez pour moi.
Yes!
Pour moi, faire exercise. Comme on t'a annoncé le commencement de l'émission, nous avons parlé de santé, de manger, de l'exercice. We're ready, guys.
We're really cute.
Ça veut dire que pas seulement manger seulement.
No. So yeah.
J'ai sexy.
Yes.
Pour faire exercice.
Yes.
Ok,
Yes.
c'est ça que nous allons faire.
Yes, c'est ça qu'on va faire même.
Et nous allons vous aider nous.
Nous besoin de yes. Nous ne pouvons pas faire pour compte, non.
Bah oui.
So nous allons accueillir un invité, un guest qui va montrer nous qui gens pour nous faire exercice, combien de fois pour faire exercice,
Qui gens pour nous
faire
faire.
résultats.
Yes.
Parce que bien faire exercice, c'est comme qui gens pour faire.
Yes.
Right? So now I'd like to introduce our trainer for the day, Craig Smith, who's going to show us how to take care of that body.
Yeah!
Welcome, Craig.
Hi.
Thank you for joining us.
You're welcome. I appreciate you having me.
All right, so Craig is my personal trainer.
Go on there. I'll be calling you soon, okay? Because I need a little help.
So I have joined his studio fitness called Hero. And in 3 months, I lost about 12 pounds. It was hard work, it was well done. I did not feel deprived. The most important thing, and I'm going to tell you again, is because when I joined Hero Fitness, You didn't tell me to buy a pill. You didn't tell me to buy anything. It was just show me how to eat better, exercise, and take care of my body. And thank you for that.
Yeah. So, no wonder I'm going to do for our the gym. The gym.
I have to follow you up.
You better. So, today you're going to show us a few movements, but before we would like to know how you started in the industry. How long you been in the industry?
I started doing exercise and movement training in like 2006. I'm just under 2 decades of being in the industry. I started as a professional dancer, and I actually trained somebody as a dancer and then brought some exercise into it, and then I was like, this is what I want to do. So from there, I just kept training people, and we developed the Hero Fitness Academy, which is Superman, and the S stands for hope.
Yes.
But for us, it stands saving the world one body at a time. So what we try to do is to get people moving better, moving more, and just not eating like a jerk. So the biggest thing is we want to make sure people aren't eating bad, but they're not sacrificing their lives, because people have everyday lives, that they have kids and they have no time, and it's something that I feel we've really kind of perfected over the last couple of years. But I think the biggest thing for me in getting into this business is just helping people do better.
Ok.
Donc ça veut dire comme ça la parler. Parce que ça fait plus de 20 ans que l'industrie elle connaît ça la parler.
Yeah.
Ok. So, question que je vais poser en anglais et puis après ça va faire. Ok. How can you eat well and don't exercise and still have a nice body? Is that possible?
There is a possibility to do that, but there's two things. Your eating works on the inside of your body, and the exercise works on the outside of your body. So if you want to just eat right, you can lose weight, but your body's not going to
fit.
Right.
That's the reason why, because a lot of people they think that, oh, I'm eating well, I don't need to go to the gym, I'm good. So if you want to have the best result, you have to combine the two.
Yes.
Okay.
Awesome.
So même si tu as mangé bien, ou minimize portion, comme tu parlé tout à l'heure, ou pas manger un peu de graisse, un peu de sel, c'est important pour faire du sport, parce que tous les deux marchés vont dans la main.
Oui, parce que you can be skinny, but not healthy.
Yes.
Okay.
Comme ça, tu gagnes l'antigen bois, et tu en santé.
Because a lot of things, you talk about fat percentage a lot. So I know that you can lose weight, but there's losing weight, there's also losing fat.
Yes.
So you focus on that. Tell us a little bit more.
Well, if you want to really get the best analogy, we could have 2 water bottles. 2 20-ounce water bottles can look the same, but it depends on what's inside of them. If I have cement in one water bottle, it's going to be really heavy, but the water bottle still looks the same. The water bottle with the water in it is still going to have the water in it and look the same as the one with the cement, but it's going to be lighter. So you could have more muscle and be heavy, but still look the right way.
Yes.
You could have lots of fat and still not look the right way, but you could still be in shape.
Yes.
So
Yes.
it's about what your body composition is made up of. Do you have more body fat percentage and more muscle? Your weight has 0 to do with anything.
But listen, there is somebody 200 pounds. They said, no, I don't want to go to gym because it's not going to do anything for me. This is true.
Everybody voted for this.
Yes.
It's definitely true. There are ways to lose the weight, but again, your heart's not going to get stronger. Even just your kidneys and everything that makes your body stay safe and healthy, they're not going to get healthy just by eating right. You have to do both. It's 100% of exercise with a program and eating right with a program. So
how often do you say that someone should exercise?
Okay. So, exercise goals are always different. They always have different variables, and it always depends on the person. So you sit there and go, hey, you know what? My friend just lost 20 pounds by doing this, this, and that. That's not necessarily going to work for you. So you have to sit down and say, okay, these are my goals, and this is how long I want my goals to last. And then you have to figure out what you need to do. So if you are going to exercise, I would say anywhere, at least move 2 to 4 to 5 times a week, at least moving. And then if you're gonna do something with weight loss, I'd probably say 3 to 5 times a week.
Okay. Donc,
Wabla, c'est ou tabla.
donc, il pas mal. Sans moun fait ça marcher pour moun, pas obligé marcher pour tout. Donc, faut faire ça bon pour faut prendre temps pour prendre exactement ça qu'on pour. Donc, 3 à 5 fois par semaine, il dit, supposé qu'à aider au gérer sexy, hein. Et en plus, ça va manger. Et comme t'as dit, boire de l'eau.
But if you can go 5 times, because I'm talking about me.
Jodly looks defeated already.
I cannot go 5 times.
Well, I will tell you this. You don't have to necessarily have a gym, and today what we're going to show you some things that you do not absolutely need a gym to go to. You don't have a facility. If you have outside, if you can walk, but it's about playing.
Amazing.
Yeah. I will tell you something that you might love about exercise. Rest is part of the program. You actually have to rest.
Yeah.
You have to rest. There has to be a day where you're not exercising. There might be 2 days you don't exercise. Just let your body recover and rebuild and do what it's supposed to do.
And then I love when he says moving. It doesn't mean you have to go to the gym, but you just have to keep moving. So that's what I learned from last November. And that's what I carry.
That's what they just say. Oh, that's what
Then that's exercise.
Yeah.
What about gardening?
Gardening is the biggest performance. Yes. Well, ladies, are you ready?
Of course.
All right.
You're not too ready.
I'm ready.
So, show us a few moves, and then we'll try not to die.
Yes.
Okay.
No, we're gonna try not to die. So you can just do your thing. We're gonna try not to
But
die.
before we start, if someone need you, how they can reach you?
Well, I would have you go to my Facebook page, the Hero Fitness Academy. We are not only in the area, but we're national, we're international. I have clients all over the country and all over the world, and those people don't even come to our studio. So
You do Zoom classes.
we do Zoom. Well, we have a client based out of what's called MindBody, but it's a great program where the videos are all there. You don't have to come down to the studio, and it's still me in a video training somebody, just like I'm going to train you guys today.
Yes.
And
I get to pause you.
you can pause.
Yeah.
You can pause, but I'm going to tell you not to pause. And I'm going to say, hey, come back here. Stop
Yeah,
chasing.
actually, you say you're lazy, you know?
I'm going to tell you to stop chasing the dust bunnies. Don't take a phone call. So we have ways to track and make sure that you're doing everything.
Ooh, so we can't cheat.
There's no cheating. There's no cheating.
That's my mindset. You can't cheat.
No,
So I can't
there's no
cheat.
cheating. There's no cheating. So if you were going to start an exercise, the first thing I'd have you do is always warm up and do some mobility. So some mobility for us would just be stepping back, just like this, so we can warm up our ankles and our calf muscles.
Okay.
And then what we're going to do is just work up the body, all the way up the body, really, really quickly.
Okay.
So then what I would do is I'd have you take one of your hands and touch one of your toes.
Wait.
And then we're going to go to the other side. And we'll just do a couple of these. This is going to get our hamstrings. The hamstrings are on the back of our legs. And they're probably one of the most important parts of our bodies. So then we're going to do this one. It's going to look like 1980s. We're going to grab our ankle and just pull it up and do a quad pull. Now, if you need a wall, definitely grab a wall. And we're just going to pull our ankle up. These are our quads. We're going to make those warm up. Yeah.
Are we there?
Almost. We're almost. Are we sweating yet? Okay. I'm done. So then our all the way up and down our back, we're going to take a good morning. Even if you don't exercise, this is one of the best things to do in the morning. Better than coffee almost. Okay, I know. Yeah, so we're going to clasp our hands. We're going to take our hips back. We're going to reach down toward the floor. We're going to reach all the way out, then come all the way up and lean back a little bit. This is called a good morning. This will get all the blood and all the ligaments and joints ready to go for the day. And then just do that, and then boom. Boom. Boom, we're ready to go. All right? So, that's part of your warm-up. Then what we would do is just run in place. So, now, if you can't run like this because your knees hurt or you need to modify it, you just march. And just do your best to not put too much impact. So we're gonna run in place. And then Make sure you got some room. We're gonna do some jumping jacks. So right here, just basic calisthenics. And there's no number that is going to be the magic number. Oh, my girl's going, she's going. There's no baseline number that you need to do. Most stuff is probably like 10, 15, 20 seconds. I know. I know you read that? All right, so that's how we would warm up. Now, here's some basic movements that we would do. The base movement of all exercises is your squat, okay? Now, there's some things that happened in the 80s and 90s that differentiated in squat. So before, our squats used to be right here. We don't want to do that anymore. We want to be above or below our knees. So our hip line, we're going to take our feet about shoulder width apart. This turnout is whatever's comfortable for you. So if you think you're a ballerina and want to plie like this, you can. But for me, I like both my feet at 12 o'clock as much as I can. So I take my hands inside. Yes, pray. This is going to be tough. All right, so we're going to come down. We're going to sink our hips back first. So put our hips back first. And then we're going to go down. Now, if you need to modify, stay up here. Do not go any further. If you are really going for the goal, get your hips below your knees. All right? And then come back up. All right? So let's go for 5. Right in a row. Let's go 5 right in a row. So if you have any modifications, only go down a couple inches. Ready? Right. Let's go. You come down. 1, up, 2, come on, 3, yep, 4, yep, and 5. And we're gonna go down one more time and hold it, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and oh yeah. So now your legs should be burning. Now, why do we want our legs to burn? The best exercise that's going to get the entire body to burn calories is the squat. So you get your legs to burn, that will take everything else and fire it up. So the other movement that I love is a reverse lunge. So you'll see people doing lunges like this. This is not great for your front of your knee. So we're gonna take our right leg, we're gonna go back. And then we're gonna just take this, let me show you from the profile view. So we're gonna take our knee and go almost to the floor. If you can't go that far, start down here and then come back up. All right, so come down with me. Come on, Mom.
I can't go that far.
Yep, you don't have to go that far. And then come back down, up, come back down, and come back up. This is a great modification. Now, if you have issues, all right, not those type of issues, but if you have issues with any parts of your body, you decrease range of motion, all right? Decrease range of motion. So now we're gonna take this and we're gonna step together. Then we're gonna step back and step together. We're gonna do 5, here we go, 5. Come on. 4. Yep. Let's go. 3. Come on. 2. One more and then hold it. Hold it. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Oh,
I'm sexy already.
Oh, I know. All right. So just to save time, we're not going to do the other side, but we're going to be walking like this when we get done. Here's my other favorite moves. So this, if I had my grandmother, all right, my grandmother couldn't walk, I'd have her crawl, okay? So my girl Easter egg over here, okay? She's gonna show you, she's gonna come right here in front of me for me. So we're gonna have your face this way, go down to your set beast, okay? So now, comes back toward me a little bit. Okay, so this is one of the most important moves because it works on your back and it works on your front. So we're gonna put our hands on the floor, we're gonna have our shoulders right over our hands, and then we're gonna bring our knees up off the floor just a barely little bit. Now, I don't know, when I was a little kid, I just used to love crawling around the floor, and I used to always get dirty. So my mom told me to pick my knees up off the floor, so because I was always running to hold my pants. All right. So, and then I met this lady, her name's Esther. Oh, you're still down there? Are you okay?
This is like his
Oh my goodness. Oh, okay. So that is set beast. So if you don't have one of these machines that does your legs like this, or one of these machines that does your leg like this at home, you do not need a gym. All right. We do everything at home. You can walk. You can do this. If you really want to have some fun, watch this do again. So just take a crawl forward and then a crawl back. Or she go back forward. Go ahead, go forward.
Go forward.
Yep. Boom. And now one crawl back. Now, come back to your set piece. And then just, oh wait, go set piece. Just, let's remember again. Yeah, Easter egg. I call it Easter egg.
That's her name?
That's what I call it.
Oh, okay.
So when she comes in the studio, she doesn't have a name. It's Easter egg. Well, I don't know why your knees are gone. Okay, so when she came in, one of her best qualities is that even though she messed up an exercise, and that's the biggest thing. A lot of people will mess up on exercises, or they might miss a day. They might have Monday, Wednesday, Friday. They did great, but then you know what they did on the weekend? Nothing. Right? They did nothing. Oh wait, why are your knees going? So they might have done nothing, and that wrecks their whole program. It works their whole month. It wrecks their whole 3 months. Oh, you can get back up. You can get back up.
I got you instead. Yeah.
So that's your set piece. But like I said, if you screw up in an exercise, if you screw up on part of your program, you screw up eating, you don't let that wreck everything. You just get back and go. So a lot of people try to carry the luggage from every other program that they've done, but that's not what we try to do. We try to make sure that you're moving right and then eating right. So those are some of the base exercises that I would do, but there's a plethora of other exercises. And if you are going to really try to do the right things, you want a trainer, all right? Mm-hmm. And there's two things I would tell you when you get a trainer. There's two major questions. Ask your trainer where their certification is from, okay? And then ask them if they have insurance, okay? I know it's crazy, but you will get trainers that aren't insured, and if something does happen to your knee while they're training you, you're out of luck.
Then I can't come to off limits anymore.
No. Well, I don't know if you can call it sick. I don't know if you can call it sick.
I was trying to get out.
But yeah, those are two really, really important questions. Their certification is going to tell you how serious or not serious they were about training. And NASM, ACE, ACSM, those are major certifications that if a trainer knows what they're doing, that's one of the certifications that they have.
So you're saying we should not listen to our friends to say, oh, I lost 30 pounds, this is what I did, and you should do it too.
You could, but that's not going to be always the safest way, because like they don't know if you take any medications. They don't know if you had a knee injury. They don't know if you have 14 kids, 14 jobs, and 15 credits at school. So they don't know your stress levels. You need to sit down with a trainer. So it's just like going to get your car fixed. You might know how to tinker around with some of the stuff, change maybe the blinker fluid, but you don't know how to change everything else. You don't know how to, remove the spark plugs. A trainer typically is going to tell you, okay, these are the exercises you need, and those are the exercises you don't need. A trainer, I will tell you though, should not be telling you what to eat. Okay, a trainer is not a certified nutritionist. They have certifications in nutrition, but do not ask the third question is your personal trainer certified in nutrition? Because otherwise they shouldn't be giving you specific nutrition advice.
Yes.
So.
That's important, you guys.
Mesdames, par contre pour nous, get a 60, voilà.
Maybe not to 60.
C'est important pour faire exercice, c'est important pour prendre les gens pour faire exercice. Parce que bien faire exercice, ça fait exercice. On parle tout le monde a fait, tout le monde a fait tout. On y a un genou fort mal, dos fort mal, et puis on va arrêter. Et gens, comme bien, si vous perdez un jour, ou perdez 2 jours, vous ne faites 3 semaines d'aller, parce que vous êtes malade. Le mal m'a dit un petit point. I couldn't even go up the stairs. But I did it. And the encouragement that you get at a small gym is not the same that you get at a bigger gym. And you go to a big gym, you see all these machines, you don't even know how to use them.
Yes. How to use them.
Yes. So that's why I like the Hero Fitness. And that's how I'm very sexy depuis November. And what is good, because you taught me how to eat, how to decrease my stress level, and how to keep moving. Even when I don't go for a week or 2, I don't gain, I maintain.
Yes.
Because he never said, cut this, cut that, don't do this, don't do that. It's all right, okay, you need to eat this better, you need to do this. So, I hope you all reach out to the Hero Fitness.
Now get information you right here.
And then, get moving, get going, and be healthy.
Yes. First, then Jerry 6 rule.
Jerry 6 rule.
Yes, you have to be happy first, then, you know. The sexy part.
Puis l'on finit habillé, on passe pour exemple un coupé.
Exactement.
Exactement.
So this is mal.
Mal plein. So you want to be like
the last word for our viewers, what would you say?
I would just say, do your best, forget the rest, and if you are really serious about something, you're going to be consistent with it, you're going to be magnificently obsessed with it, and that's going to
I like that.
That's going to be the thing that keeps driving you forward. And again, if you screw up, you mess up, you don't just stop, you keep going.
Okay.
Right.
So, mesdames, on va nous quitter là, il y a la française de ce soir.
Yes.
Come on.
Hey, that's how we end the day. And this is our limit.
Off the beat.